The 1964 film Zulu is the latest target of woke activists after the movie was tied to far-right extremists in Prevent's latest report. Prevent, of course, is supposed to be that counter-terror stuff, isn't it? Which makes me wonder why on earth they're getting involved in this. But anyway, film star Michael Caine rubbished the claims that the picture led many to violence and extremism, stating defiantly, "There are no films I wish I hadn't made." So, is the film a bit of harmless fun or an outdated racist relic of times gone by? With me now is Bushra Sheikh, former BBC Apprentice candidate and anti-racism campaigner, and Benjamin Loughnane, research fellow at the Bow Group. Good stuff, both of you. Thank you very much. Bushra, is it fair enough that Zulu is now apparently on Prevent's radar?
Well, this is actually really interesting because if we look at Prevent as an anti-terror organisation, we can't call them woke. Because with the same energy, if we're going to fight anti-Islamic extremism, we have to take what they say in a serious manner. And now they're making reference to 1964 Zulu, and I would probably agree. I mean, there is a racial undertone, and we do know what that film is about. But then this is a question about: are we going to censor everything? You know, so what energy are we going to use? Are we claiming that Prevent isn't a counter-terrorist organisation? When do we want to use them, and when do we not?
Just probably worth checking. Have you seen the film Zulu?
I've not seen the entire movie, but I do know what it's about, and I've seen clips of it as well. So we know it's about 150 British soldiers. We know it was about the kind of British imperialism going into South Africa, and the kind of racial undertones are present. We do know that. But, you know, at the same time, I'm not also the person to say that we should censor stuff. It is important to keep things like available, especially within film, that we can unpack and also examine.
OK. Benjamin, I'll bring you in now. Benjamin Loughnane, research fellow at the Bow Group. A lot of people in my inbox are saying Zulu is a dramatic representation of a historic event that actually happened.
Yeah, it's a historical event. It's a historical battle. You might make a case that the Battle of Rorke's Drift was racist. I don't think it was. You know, it was a war. There's a war happens. It's not very nice, but it does happen. I don't think it was motivated by race. It was probably motivated by gaining land and, improving their own lives, which is what most wars are motivated by. I don't think it was racial. But it's a film. It's not the actual battle. It's not happening in real life. It's on a screen. It's a fictional, representation of real events. To get offended by a film is absolutely ludicrous.
Do you think that potentially, Bushra, that if people are inclined to watch Zulu, a film that was made in 1964, and that leads them towards far-right extremism, I mean, is that actually something... Do you think that is actually something that happens? I mean, realistically, do you think people sit down and watch Zulu, which I think from memory tends to be shown almost every year around the December, Christmas time, and then that in itself incites people to go out and do unspeakable things, presumably to black people?
I mean, the honest truth is, look, Patrick, we know that any content in the wrong hands is going to be bad content. You know, we have to accept that that is a practicality of society. Whether somebody's going to sit down and watch Zulu and think, OK, I'm now going to become a far-right extremist, is probably very, very rare. But again, we have to question, this isn't about a woke agenda. We have Prevent, the organisation, saying that this could be inciting far-right extremism. So you have to decide, are we going to accept Prevent? Because I've had lots of people say to me, well, Prevent is absolutely right when it comes to Islamic extremism. So why is it not the case here?
Well, there is that point, Benjamin. I'll let you answer to that. I mean, Prevent have seen fit to get involved. This is a Prevent problem.
Yeah, I don't think they should be. I think they should stick to actual real instances of terrorism and violence and hate that, are serious. I don't think any moderate person has sat down, watched the film Zulu and then gone, do you know what, I'm going to become a racist now. I just don't see that playing out. I don't see it happening. And I think getting involved in these really petty things like policing what sort of films and what sort of media you can watch and getting upset about certain songs. Like, I mean, we saw this with Tom Jones' song Delilah recently. They wanted to ban it at the rugby. It's like, why? Focus on actually dealing with real issues. Stop banning things which don't actually contribute to these problems.
Yeah, but that also, I just want to add that wasn't also something that Prevent the organisation raised. No. So, we have to question this 49 million year organisation that, the Shawcross report has said that this is not the only movie. So are we just going to denounce their findings and say that this isn't accurate? Because if that's the case, then you need to use that energy elsewhere as well.
I mean, Prevent has copped it a bit, Benjamin, for at times being accused of actually giving money to people who were, well, in favour of the Taliban, for example. So I can't help but wonder whether or not maybe they are just crowbarring in the film Zulu to try to provide some balance to the far right, potentially.
Yeah, and I think possibly it's a distraction tactic as well. These sorts of, outrages distract from the fact that Prevent haven't done the best job. I mean, there's quite a lot of things they haven't prevented. They've dropped the ball on a number of occasions. And I think talking about films is an easy cop-out for them rather than actually doing their proper job. Frankly, I think this whole thing is ridiculous and we need to move on from this censorious trend that we've had for the past few years.
Would you ban the film Zulu, Bushra?
Sorry, Patrick, I just wanted to add, when it comes to far right and it comes to Prevent and the far right, it means that they're not doing their job properly. But when it comes to the mosque and it comes to places like Wakefield and Batley, then they are doing their job properly. The standard, we've got to have the same standard and the same energy. If there is a level of issues that could be raised in these movies, we have to question
I would slightly countenance that, Bushra, with the idea that no one went and blew themselves up in the Manchester Arena after they watched Zulu, did they?
No, of course not. Of course not. And I'm not going to sit here and defend anybody that does that at all. But then in the same breath, you can't say that Prevent are not doing their job when it's on your turn. They are either doing their job or they aren't. Because when we cite that Prevent isn't doing the right job when it's our turn, somehow, we're trying to dismiss terrorism.
OK, well, Benjamin, I'll let you answer that then. So do you think that there is some bias here, which is that when people see that Prevent is going after certain aspects of the Muslim community, then people think it's doing a great job? But then it comes after a film like Zulu and people think, no, that's wrong.
Yeah, but look, Prevent needs to go after where there is terror, where there is hatred. That's their job. If it happens to be the fact that that exists within Islamic communities more so than it does in cinemas when you're watching the film Zulu, then they should focus on that. And I don't think they should have to give the appearance of going after every single community equally, because it doesn't occur in every community equally.
Right. Bushra, would you be up for a trigger warning on Zulu, do you think?
Up for a trigger warning? Honestly, if you're asking my personal opinion, no. I believe that there is some content, like Benjamin said, in theatre, in movie, in film, that we should keep, again, is to unpack and examine kind of historical events. And I think they can be good for us. So I do share this energy where sometimes I think Prevent do get it wrong. I do genuinely believe that.
OK, and Benjamin, I'm assuming that the film Zulu will not be coming with a trigger warning if we watched it round at your place.
No, absolutely not. I think people should be trusted to form opinions based on what they see, and we shouldn't be wrapping people up in cotton wool and hiding the world from them. These are real events that happened historically, and we have to confront that, and we have to watch it, and we have to form opinions on the basis of that. And telling people, I'm going to give you a trigger warning, don't watch this, it might scare you or be offensive to you. I mean, it's absolutely pathetic. You should be able to confront the realities of the world as an adult.
Good stuff, both of you. Thank you very much. Another stellar debate here.